And Reolink app is now
connection succeeded.
good. Hello folks, Jason Chrisman, JC's Bees. About 4 to 6 weeks ago, Reolink reached out and asked if I'd be interested in trying out the Reolink TrackMix, a dual lens, auto tracking, ultra 4K camera. Now this one here is the Reolink TrackMix LTE-C, and the LTE-C means it has its own data plan, so it's not within Wi-Fi range, and for that reason I've mounted the whole setup to a 2x4, added the Reolink strapping system to it, and now I can move it around the farm and keep an eye on things here when I'm not here, because on this farm we lease it and I live about 3/4 of a mile away, so I can be here in a split second if I need to be, and this is going to tell me when I need to be. So what I'd like to do is strap this up on the post behind me, pull out my phone, and I'm going to use a screen recorder app to show what the Reolink app does when this senses motion. So I figured we'd use the Honda, drive across the field, trip this off, I'll be notified, and I'll show you what that looks like. I'll also point out some of the other cool features about this camera. It's probably the heavy dutyest camera I've ever got. This whole top portion is all metal. The bottom part down here is plastic, but this whole top base is metal. The solar panel, now I've used several of the Reolink cameras. Actually, just up here, another fence post is the Reolink Ranger. The solar panel on this one is a little bit bigger, and this is the solar panel 3 from Reolink. The other ones I have are the Reolink solar panel 2s. So let's get this mounted up, which is real simple with this strapping system that comes with the camera. I just mounted it to a 2x4, ran the strap through it, and now all I need to do is put it up. So let me get it pre-started here, and I'll drop it around the post and we'll go get started. There's the setup. Got the strap going around the post. Now the post isn't the straightest in the world, so the camera is probably more straight up and down than the post is. I took the extra strap, looped it up and around. But here's my connection for the solar panel. You can see there's a little green light on right there. There's 2 access ports on this camera. There's one here, and there is another right here. You take out these 2 screws. Now I believe this one is for the SD card, the micro SD card, which was supplied with the camera, and up here's where my SIM card went to get my data plan started. So you got a speaker here, which we can talk to who's ever standing at the camera. Yeah, we're ready to go. Look at that, Reolink 4K. All right, so I got the Reolink app pulled out here, and I got my screen recorder working. The camera is just straight up the fence row here. You see all these multiflora rose bushes and weeds. They're actually in the fence row that I need to clean. So right up there is the camera, and what I want to do now is I want to drive across the field here, and the Reolink camera, once it senses motion, is going to send me a notification to my phone. From that point, we'll go into the app, see what's going on, see the views that it shows, which right now when I click this little button, you can see the dual lens camera is showing 2 views. The top view is your full view, and the bottom is a zoomed in portion of the top view. And on the bottom one, you are able to control the zoom feature in and out, so you could zoom in more or you could zoom out if you wanted. So what I want to do now, I'm going to disconnect from the Reolink app. I'll shut my phone down and we will drive across the field and listen for a notification. Right there's the camera. And right now we ought to be in full view. there's the notification. So if we pull down, it says motion detected, Reolink TrackMix LTE, and I can tap to view. Now, it'll also record whatever it captures during that self-detection period. It also has an auto tracking feature, so as it moves across the screen, you'll be able to see the camera turn with them and follow. That's a really good for instance right there. Now it's lost me. I've went out of its view, so it's reset to a set position, which I also control with the Reolink app. So I've been using Reolink cameras. You're gonna hear my you're gonna hear the Old Spice jingle in the background, and that's my phone going off and the Honda because, well, the camera senses there's motion out here. I've used Reolink cameras for about 6 years now, folks, and 90% of my cameras are the self-data plan cameras, the LTEs, and they work rather well for me. And to get my SIM cards, I use a company called the EOT Club, and I can give you a small discount if you buy your SIM card from them, which work wonderfully with these Reolink cameras. So I'll leave a link down below for the EOT Club. You can go over there, and I think it's just over $100 for a 1-year plan. And that's worked wonderfully for me. I can tune in whenever I want, whenever I get notifications. I like to take one of these cameras and move it around with my cow herd. And it's real nice to be able to tell, hey, are they being good? Or do I need to run back up there? And these cameras are able to tell me that. Now, years ago, one of my Reolink cameras caught an Amish coming onto our farm, which we're surrounded by Amish, and they were hunting. Their deer came on our farm, and he thought he would just help himself and go look for it without getting permission, which is a big no-no. Well, he cut around one of the trees on our farm for one of these cameras to detect him and send me a notification. I got something that said person detected in your field, and I'm like, what do you mean a person in my field? So I turn in and look. Sure enough, here's an Amish man and a kid walking around with flashlights. He did notice the camera and tried to cut back around the tree, but little did he know, Jason's able to control and zoom, tilt, pan, whatever I need to do. I'm able to turn the camera and look and see. So when he went around the tree, little did he know the camera was already set there, waiting for him to come around, and I got him waving his flashlight around. And then I hit the microphone feature and I said, I don't know what you're doing on our land, but you've got about 3 minutes to be out there before I get there. I hopped on my Polaris and I zoomed up here. And once I got to the farm, I shut my headlights off so they wouldn't see me coming. But once I got back there, they knew they were busted. So they hid. And I was not able to capture them actually on our land except for with my footage. Now, if you'd like to see that video, I'll link it at the end of this one. It shows a lot of what Reolink can do for you. Now, since the night vision has become better, it's now colored night vision, and the picture is just amazing when it comes to looking at what's going on your land. And if you've ever had to involve the law and somebody trespassing, they always want to see detailed pictures. They need to be able to tell who the person is and what time, the date, all of that is right there with your Reolink. So I've since moved the camera. It's now with my cow herd, which you might be able to see in the distance, and I've got some cool footage I'm going to share at the end of this video of the cows today moving around. And you'll see in that footage, which I'll show here at the end of this, the camera following the cows. That is all on its own. And it's pretty wild to watch the camera and see something move and the camera actually follow it. That auto tracking is amazing. And you know, you got to wonder if you're a person that's sneaking around on somebody's property doing something you should not do, and you see a camera following you around, you gotta wonder, is the homeowner watching or is it doing it on its own? So to have something like this on your property to secure it and have peace of mind, it's huge. So what I thought we'd do now is I want to do a screenshot, a screen record of the Reolink app. I'm going to move you in a little bit and I want to show you some of the different features on the Reolink app. So let me get it opened up here and we will get started. On the screen here, we've got several different buttons across the top. We've got siren, flashlight, and then we can see what looks like two devices stacked on top of each other. That's two cameras. There's a gear, which is for settings, and then there is a half shaded in circle. Now if we press the two devices over top of each other, you're going to shut off the zoomed in portion of the camera. We hit it again, brings it right back up. Now it will have to connect with the device, and that's one thing I wanted to talk about here real quick. You know, a lot of people see that this has two antennas and think, wow, it must have better reception. Well, it's also got two lenses. So with the way I figure this works is one antenna for each lens. Okay, so back to the app. If we hit the talk button and press tap to talk, enabling talk, microphone not available, another app is now using microphone. Oh, okay. So I'm not able to do that because my screen recorder is in use. So we'll close that. What we'll do is we'll try the pan feature, and it comes up on your screen, gives you a little dial, and you're able to turn the camera with that dial. So if I wanted to see where the cows were, we could turn it over here, and look, there's the moo-moos. Okay, so we'll close that. You've got the option to take photos and watch your playback from the app. Let's go ahead and hit the gear, and we'll dive in just a little bit deeper into the Reolink app, which has a ton of features. If you would have a hotspot out here in your area of your camera, maybe you have a sidewalk, and off to the side of the sidewalk is a garage, and you don't want anything to trip the camera in front of the garage. Well, the Reolink app actually has settings where you can go in and tweak things like that. Here's some of the different settings that the Reolink app offers, and you can see here at the top it tells me how much space I've used on my Reolink micro SD card. We've got display settings. Let's go back. We've got sound settings, light, and the light's not something I use a whole lot because the night vision works so well. Right now I've got the PIR motion sensor off just because if I had it on and the cows walk by here, they're going to be tripping it constantly. I mean, this is what we've got going on right here while we're making this. So, detection alarm. There is just a ton of features, folks, with the Reolink cameras. And every single one of the Reolink cameras has all of these features. There might be a few new features added with the new technology of the dual lens and the auto tracking, but for the most part it's all the same. It's even got a time-lapse feature. If you wanted to do sunsets or whatever, you can do that with the Reolink camera. So let's go back to the camera. Let's hit record and let's swing it around. There's the cows. So I can do all that from right here in the app, and then I can hit record again to stop it. I've got the option to share. Even though it will be saved to the micro SD card, I can go ahead and upload it to Google Photos if I want to. Let's go ahead and do that. Now the Elliott Club, or the EOT Club SIM card I mentioned, that works with AT&T and T-Mobile. This phone I've always used Verizon because that's what our best service is here. And I checked the T-Mobile coverage map when I first started using the EOT Club, and it was very spotty in my area. But I must say, I've never had an issue. They've worked wonderfully. And I do want to say that the EOT Club will automatically rotate between AT&T and T-Mobile depending on which is coming in better at the time. So that's a pretty cool feature. So if you're looking for some peace of mind on your property, maybe some security, an eye in the sky when you're not there, check out Reolink, folks. This camera here, simply amazing. I love the zoomed in feature along with the extended view feature. It's pretty cool. You know, a lot of times when you need to rely on this footage, say somebody is in your yard and they take something or steal something, the first thing the cops are going to ask you is if you've got a picture and how clear it is. Well, with this camera, you're going to get two pictures. You're going to get one at a distance and one zoomed in, or a video, I guess. So think of this as an investment. It's not just a toy, even though it is fun to zoom in and see what these kids are doing during the day. It's not really a toy. So down in the video description, and I'll also pin it to the top comments, if you use my link, go over to Reolink, I can save you 15% on this particular camera. And that's going to get it to you for about $265, which is pretty amazing really for what you're getting. Now, it's up to you if you want to mount it on the board. It comes with several different mounting features and it was super easy to set up. So any questions at all, leave them down in the video comments and I'll do my best to reply. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it's gave you a little bit of insight on Reolink.